Hello, people online. Excuse my fucking zits. I know 30s and I still have acne, but whatever. Um, I just wanted to pop on here and talk about. I know that as like parents, we can deal with a lot of like guilt, especially like mom guilt, where we're like, I don't have enough money to buy my son all the stuff he wants, or go on the best vacations, or things like that. But I want y'all to remember that kids at the end of their childhood, they're not going to tally how much money you spent on them. They're not going to count all the new gifts they got or anything like that. They're going to remember the way you made them feel and the times you were there for them when they needed you, in the good and bad. And I think it's really important to keep that in perspective. Think about your own childhood. What do you remember? Do you remember how much money you got for your 8th birthday? How many presents or toys you got, for your 10th or whatever? I don't. Granted, I didn't have a great childhood, but what I remember from my childhood is the way my mother made me feel. And I remember not being emotionally supported at all. And so I imagine if I had had a childhood where I was emotionally supported, that would be what I remembered as well. And so I just wanted to remind moms, like, you may not have the ability to financially give them everything that they want. But that's not even necessarily a bad thing, because think about, too, the person that gets everything they want becomes entitled. They believe that they're owed everything they want. And it is a good lesson in life to learn that you don't always get everything you want. You'll get everything you need if you're, in a loving family that is going to try their best to give you everything you need. But not getting everything you want is not a bad thing, and children will remember more of the free stuff you did, like reading books together, going to the parks, them being able to cry, and you validating their emotions and holding them and telling them that you still love them just the same. Your kids will remember if you got in arguments that you said you're sorry, that you showed them how to apologize and hold yourself accountable. Those are the things that really matter. The point of someone's childhood isn't to just have fun and just be spoiled. The point of childhood is to prepare you for adulthood. And to raise a successful adult, you also have to teach them the hard lessons of life. And I know that can be heartbreaking as a parent, to watch your child realize that life will not give them everything they want. It's a hard thing to come to terms with. But it's also very necessary. And the sooner we learn it, honestly, the easier life becomes for us, because we aren't going in with that expectation. When we build these false expectations for our children in childhood that the world will cater to them, we only break their heart as adults. And that can be even more devastating, because you've known this truth for so long, and then to find out it's not real as an adult, it can be very challenging. Our minds are more easily molded when we're children, and we're more, I feel like, resilient in a way. And I mean, obviously there are definitely times where children are much more sensitive than adults, but at the same time too, because they don't have all of these expectations built in as children, we as the parent get to set these expectations for them. And so I would love if the world was a beautiful, fair, and kind place all the time, and I could teach my child that, but it isn't. And I won't ever lie to my child. Now, obviously, you have to keep things age appropriate, or you're going to have a kid with anxiety. My son doesn't know anything about really, like, the politics of the time, because it's out of his control. He can't even vote, so it has nothing to do with him in a sense. He knows what is age appropriate. And so, I don't know, I'm digressing and rambling, but I just want to remind parents, like, you don't need to feel that guilt for not being able to buy them everything, or not being able to take them to Disneyland, or whatever. You can have really beautiful memories of your childhood without ever going to Disneyland, I promise you. I went to Disneyland as a kid once, and I barely even remember it, just by the way, and I was like 13 or 12 or something. Like, I was fairly old enough to be able to remember it, but I really don't. What I remember are the emotions I felt in childhood. And, I don't know, I just, I'm digressing and rambling, but I just want to remind parents, like, you don't need to feel that guilt for not being able to buy them everything, or not being able to take them to Disneyland, or whatever. You can have really beautiful memories of your childhood without ever going to Disneyland, I promise you. I went to Disneyland as a kid once, and I barely even remember it, just by the way, and I was like 13 or 12 or something. Like, I was fairly old enough to be able to remember it, but I really don't. What I remember are the emotions I felt in childhood. And I remember the dynamics of the parent-child relationship, and I think that is what children remember the most. If you offered safety, love, comfort, reassurance, and discipline. And discipline is one of those things that I feel like kids won't necessarily appreciate it until they become adults, and they will see their peers who did not experience the concept of discipline, like self-discipline and motivation and stuff like that, and they will appreciate what was taught to them in childhood compared to the adults who were never taught that. Because I know, as someone who was on the other end of that spectrum, who was not taught discipline, not truly, I was disciplined, more like punished, but it wasn't to teach me anything, it was just to hurt me, or to be vengeful or spiteful. But I remember, like, becoming an adult and realizing that I had not been given any of the tools to take care of myself. And I think if roles had been reversed, if I had, I would have appreciated that had I seen someone like myself. But yeah, parenting is not about spoiling your kid. It's about preparing them to be a really good adult who is kind, compassionate, and open to learning and growing, which means being able to be humble and admit that they were wrong. And so to teach your child these things, you have to model them yourself. This is a lot of a rant, but I just wanted to share a little bit. I hope everyone has a good day today. And for the moms experiencing mom guilt, I ask you to forgive yourself and really examine what you think is important to be passing on to a child. Money is not everything. Love is so much more important. A willingness to guide and teach and grow is such a more important quality in a parent than finances. And granted, financial stability is important, because stability in general obviously is important for children, but it's okay if they don't have, $100 sneakers and the latest technology and all the video games they want or whatever. You don't need that to have a good childhood. You just need parents that are present, supportive, and honest, and have a true desire to help. So as long as you've got that, you're good. Keep trying. You'll make mistakes. That's okay. Forgive yourself then, too. You'll both grow together, because you'll learn as much from your child as they'll learn from you, to be perfectly honest. I hope everyone has a good one. I will get off here now. Bye.